to part 3 of our series on Apocalypse, Armageddon, and the future. The 1 week is left, or this last 7 years is left, which we have cut loose on the timeline of history. In the last one, about the last 7 years, which was part of the 70-week prophecy of Daniel 9:24-27. We learned that the Antichrist will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. Part of that covenant is the rebuilding of the Jewish temple, the sacrifice, which goes along with the animals, and the setting up of the 10 political economic regions worldwide, and a possibly introduction of a world currency. Also, one other thing that will happen is, because he will have the support, the Antichrist, the person will have the support of the financial institutions. World economy will make progress like never before. There will be propaganda to become a good world citizen and to accept the chip, which holds all your data, which will be very good for, in case of kidnapping, money laundering, identification, fighting terrorism. All these good things will be if you take the chip. There is, however, a little rat in the woodpile, which we will discover later. There's also a person which the Bible calls the false prophet. Now, this person has taken it as his life's calling to promote the Antichrist as the Messiah. This is the one we have been waiting for. This is the reincarnated one. And there will be lies galore. I was traveling last year, and I was sitting next to a very nice Indian lady, and she was reading a book, spiritual book, and towards the end of our flight, the conversation came on the Messiah, or in the Hindu scriptures, he's called the Purus Prajapati, which means the creator in human form. She said, oh, the Messiah will soon come. I said, no, maybe you can help me out here a bit. I thought he came in the form of Jesus, of Lord Jesus. She says, no. Jesus also was a Messiah. They are all Messiahs. They're reincarnations of each other. I was just trying to explain to her from the Hindu scriptures that the Messiah was an individual person that did away with reincarnation. We can find this in the Hindu scriptures, in the Buddhist scriptures, and of course in the Christian and Judaic scriptures. He did away with reincarnation because with the Messiah, with the Purus Prajapati, with the Holy One, we will bypass, we will get off the samsara, the endless wheel of suffering, and we will enter into the highest nirvana. We will enter into the highest heavens. However, her mind was made up, and she said, we are looking forward to the Messiah to come. And so, the Antichrist will be the new Messiah, and he will promote it. It says in the Bible, in Revelation 13, that he will be able to call down fire from heaven. This false prophet. So he will say, which other prophet called down fire from heaven? In the Old Testament we have the prophet Elijah, and he called down fire from heaven. And Jesus said of John the Baptist that he came in the spirit of Elijah to announce him. So this fellow will say, I come in the spirit of Elijah, and I come to announce our true Messiah. Will fall. It says, he will even try to deceive the very elect. If you are a very elect, watch out. If we want to know what the Antichrist is like, we should read 1 Corinthians 13. You say, 1 Corinthians 13 is the love chapter. You leave out the love. Look, I read it to you. Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. With the tongues of man and of an angel, and say, wow, he's an angel speaking. He's come. and have not charity, I have become a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. All he is empty words. So though I have the gift of prophecies, it says he will forecast his devices, understand all mysteries. He says he will understand dark sentences. He will promote witchcraft. He will understand dark sentences. Though I have all knowledge, he will promote science like anything. Charity vaunted not itself. This fellow, all he does is vaunt himself, declare himself to be God. He finally, at the end of his period, he's going to sit in the temple saying that he is God. The poor guy really has it mixed up here. And we're going to see why. It says of Jesus, out of Egypt have I called my son. Most likely from the scriptures, from Daniel, and from the different prophecies, he will come out of Egypt. So it's another copy of Jesus. Of course, he'll be from Jewish descent, otherwise the Jews would not accept him. But he's also the king of the north. So he probably becomes strong in the south of Russia. Nostradamus, he saw 3 antichrists coming. He saw one which was, he called him Napoleon Roy, and the other one he called Hitler. And the third antichrist he called Mabuse. So I don't know who Mabuse is going to be, but we'll have to see. And we'll have to see how things develop and what is going to happen. Now, some characteristics of the Antichrist is that he will not have a desire of women. Okay, now it's also in Daniel 7, verse 8, he is called the horn that had man's eyes, that had eyes of a human. Now, what could that mean? A horn? Okay, the horn means power. So he's strong, he's powerful. It says he's more stout than his fellows. But he had eyes. Could that be the net? Could that be the CCTV cameras that are being set up everywhere for our national security to monitor our steps? So he had eyes. He blasphemes God. Oh, he hates God. So he'll blaspheme. We need to wait with God. Who wants a God that we've never seen? Who wants a God? I'll be a God. It's in the name of God that wars are fought. Let's put away with all these gods, with all this religion and stuff. You be a good world citizen and worship me. That'll be his motto. And we'll all be one big happy family. There'll be no wars, no divisions. And you worship me, or you worship my image, which is technology. He becomes strong with the small people. That means the little people will be on his side. It says he'll divide the land for gain. He will give them land. He will consolidate his followers by giving them land. And who doesn't want a piece of land? So this is the half. This is the midst. This is the 3.5 years. It says, in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and the oblation to cease. So in the midst of the week he stops. But before that he fights 2 wars. He fights a war with the king of the south. The king of the south is either the king of Israel, or the president, or the leader of the political economic region of the Middle East, which includes Israel and which includes the different Arab countries. And he'll come against the king of the south, and he'll win that war. There'll be lies spoken at the peace table, and he'll bring back a lot of the riches, oil and gold. War number 2, it says that the ships of Chittim shall come against him, and he looks like he loses that war, and he's not pleased at all. So this happens around in the first 3.5 years. The ships of Chittim. Chittim is the old name for Cyprus. Since the independence in 1960, there have been 2 SBAs in Cyprus. And the RAF, the Royal Air Force, operates from there. It says the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Now, I don't know if this is the airships or the airplanes or the RAF that comes against him because he is planning to invade the Middle East again and give trouble in Israel. So the RAF, or in connection with the NATO forces, might come against him, and he loses that war, actually. Right here it says, and his heart shall be against the Holy Covenant. And then he goes on, it says, and he shall have intelligence with them that forsake the Holy Covenant. So he'll be talking to people about the Holy Covenant, that it is time to abolish it. So this brings us to the third ward. The third ward is the exciting part. This is when things drastically change. You will see how they change, why they change, and what will happen in this last 3.5 years. This last 3.5 years is the culmination of history. This is the exciting time that all of heaven is watching. And we